Welcome back, guys, to Tulkas Plays Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke, episode number 5. Last episode we left off here in Rustboro City. We had just conquered our first gym. Gave her what for with Mr. Horatio at the helm. We'll get up here to where we saw a Devon researcher running off screaming that someone had stolen his goods. This is a short little detour over to the cave that we noticed in earlier episodes. But we have, as of yet, not been inside. This Pokemon is the only Pokemon that you can catch in the upcoming cave. We will endeavor to catch one in there. I don't think it will become part of the team. The reason being, its gimmick is sort of just sound waves in general. Its ability is soundproof, so sound-based attacks don't affect it. Screech, growl, things of that nature. And its primary damaging attack is Uproar. The reason that Uproar is not great for Nuzlocke is because it locks you into combat. I want to say that it's 2 to 5 turns. And you won't be able to do anything until it wears off. It locks you into that move. I don't even think you can switch Pokemon, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've used a Whismur, but any attack that locks you in, like Rollout and things of that nature, are not great for Nuzlocke just for that reason. You don't ever want to be locked into an attack, because if somebody gets an unlucky crit and you're down to 2 health and you would have been able to save them, but they're stuck trying to do an Uproar, if it can't kill the enemy in one hit, you're going to lose a party member. It's just not worth it. This gentleman is Mr. Briny. We were about to go through Petalburg Woods in a much earlier episode, and I mentioned that his cabin there was very important. This gentleman will be our primary ability of crossing the sea to a couple of towns until we find the ability to surf. That being one of the greatest complaints that I've heard people have about this generation is it's become a meme at this point, but it's 7.6 out of 10, too much water. Hoenn is hugely covered by water in oceans and rivers and things of that nature. And a lot of people love to bust on it because of that. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to capture this thing. But I'm not going to lose a team member for it. And if I don't catch it, not that upset about it. This is its thing. It's fairly powerful because it's a stab move. That's a normal type Pokemon and a normal type move. It's fine. But just being locked into it is just not safe. One of the other things about Uproar 2 is that it, see, 2 to 5 turns. It calmed down after the second turn there. But while it's going on, nobody on the field can be put to sleep. So for double battles, it can actually have some uses. If you make sure that a Hypnosis is not going to do anything, or a Sleep Powder, there's definitely some tactics you can use it for. It's just not something I really want to get involved in, so Whismur, just stay in the Pokeball and just live your life out in the box where you belong. Now I believe I'm in crit range right there. So what we're going to do is swap out just for safety, and we'll use Stun Spore, and the paralysis, and being right at half health and it's only at level 6, hopefully this will enable us to catch it. See, there was a crit. Keely wouldn't have been able to take that. In the Pokeball, Whismur. Big floppy rabbit. Stay in your Pokeball. You too good for your Pokeball? Beautiful. That way at least the route's not wasted. I don't know that there's anywhere else you run into these things in the game, I'm not sure. But we may well run into some of its evolutionary lines, so might as well get it out of the way. And of course we nickname like we always do. Let's see here. I haven't gotten a lot of comments about nicknames and things of that nature, so at this point I'm still just making them up as I go along. That being said, if you do have an idea for a nickname, by all means pop a comment down below, let me know. I will be sure to make some Pokemon in the future named after you or your comment. Lady Loud. Now, go live in the box forever and ever and ever. You may notice that I have Torchic out front, Mr. Aries. I want to get Aries up to level 16 very shortly. And there's very good reason for that. One of the trolliest things that a Pokemon game does is about to come up. And I actually think it's optional. I don't know that you have to do it. It may be one of those things. Pokemon's bad to give you dialogue options that don't actually mean anything. It will offer you the chance to opt in or opt out, and then ultimately it's going to make you do it anyway sometimes. So that might be a case, and I might have to do the battle that's coming up. There's a rival battle right as you leave Rustboro City, after you do this little part. That is not... it's not okay. It's really not. If you didn't... if you pick Torchic as your starter, and even if you pick Trico, it can be a real pain. They kind of funnel you really towards picking Mudkip. Mudkip is, as far as just playing through the main game, maybe the most useful one, especially early game. Just the typing and the battles that you fight, he really comes in handy. This is Pico and Mr. Brownie. He dotes on this Wingull. Yep, I know where your cottage is. Make your way home, you and Pico. I like that nickname though, Pico. Another Whismur, of course, because there's nothing else in here. These things are so annoying, they ran all the Zubat out. You know, I actually probably should stop running from those battles if I want to get Combuskin to evolve. Probably not the best thing I can do. Oh look, it's a tree that we can't cut down. And I hate HMs. And I ran off and didn't show you guys where to get it. My bad. So this was useless. Alright, so we're going to learn real quick where the cut HM is. It's right here in Rustboro City. We're going to go pick it up. I'm going to fight all these battles out as we go. I do want to try to get as much experience going as I can. There we go. We're already within 2 levels. Not a big deal. There's some trainers up here. If I can get this HM and then get in here and do it organically, I will. Oh, there's going to be like a whole thing. He's going to take me over to the Devon headquarters, and it's going to be a match call thing. Yeah, whole cutscene going on. I feel like the protagonist of this game gets a kind of a bum rap. Like, you come out on your Pokemon journey, all you want to do is get strong enough to go beat your dad up, because that's what everybody wants deep down inside. And then you get pulled into these struggles. This guy can't handle his business, so you got to jump in and save him a couple times. Then you get to meet a CEO of a company, and you think, this is great, I'm going to get my foot in the door, I'm going to get a job opportunity. No, you don't get a job opportunity. You get given a task to do, 2 of them, that have no benefit to you whatsoever. You get no promise of payment, you get no guarantee of anything. You're just a kid, and they're sending you off for child labor out into the wild blue yonder. Oh, it's poker harassment. It's really best in situations like this, and in Pokemon in general, to not overthink it. Because if you think too much about Pokemon, it's really disturbing. He's gonna heal my Pokemon, which is fine, sure. Alright, so now I've got a couple things. A letter to deliver, and then some parts that I've repeatedly had to save from Team Aqua. Can't even run in here. And then they're gonna make me call the Devon president to make sure my phone's working. It's fine. basically means that for the rest of the game, people are going to be annoying me. Because unlike what they did in some later generations, you don't get to choose who you register. When you fight people from now on, they will just sometimes be registered to your match call, and they will call you, not to make a rematch, not to give you something useful like a battle with experience and payment. No. To talk about the Pokemon they just saw. To talk about their parents. To talk about their love life. To talk about their job. Do they actually talk about any of those things? I don't know. I never pay attention. I click through the conversation because it's boring and useless, and it's one of the worst things in this game. And HMs are always a terrible part of any Pokemon game. I really feel like I don't understand the person at Nintendo who thought this was a good idea. They said to themselves, let's make a technical machine, except it's required to progress through the story in places, and it can't easily be forgotten in the field. It'll have infinite uses, but it will probably be one of the machines that they use the least. And let's go ahead and make technical machines which teach some of the best moves in the game, single use only. Because that will really make our fan base angry, but because they love our product, they'll keep coming back anyway. And their self replied, "That's a great idea, let me buy you a cup of coffee." And it was so. HMs are just a bummer. I'm really glad in later games they, especially like Sun and Moon, they went fully to like the little phone that you can, like pager, the ride pager. You can get other Pokemon that you don't have to keep in your party that just come do the job, and that you're in, you're out, you're done. Because no, the thing is, like, if you're gonna make HM moves, you'd think they'd make them good. The only one that's even remotely decent is Surf. When you put it on somebody with same type attack bonus, it can actually do work. And I guess Cut's not bad if you put it on a normal type. Keely's gonna have to learn it because I'm not teaching it to Aries. And Keely can actually get some use out of it. The bad thing is now we're gonna have two Pokemon that know it when Keely finally evolves. We're going to get into a couple trainer battles, and like I said, we're going to try to get 2 more levels squeezed out of this if we can. Again, half water type, not afraid to leave Aries in because it won't know a water move. But no, its final evolution, Ludicolo, is nothing to sniff at. It can do some work. Oh yeah, if they're all a comparable experience to that, we should be fine. As long as we don't get some crit or something. I've got potions, I don't care to use those outside of battle. I mentioned it last time. She's gonna use a full restore on a level 8 Zigzagoon. This drives me nuts. Those things cost like $3,000. I don't know what the currency system is in these games and how much that is, but that is an exorbitant amount of money to use when a super potion, at most, would have easily fixed that thing up. Like, she paid me $1,600. I think full resource costs $3,000. So that battle cost her 4,600 Poké Dollars at minimum, even if I'm right about the full restore cost and it's not more than that. Just silly. Just those upper class people looking down their nose on the poor little kid that's been sent on his Pokemon journey. Doesn't have full restores yet, can't even buy them. Couldn't afford them, even if he had them. We're already a level up. I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting Aries to evolve. And as soon as we do, we're blowing this popsicle stand. We've been in Rustboro for far too long. But it's still part of like the introduction. It's introducing you to one of the evil teams. It's introducing you to your first gym battles. It's introducing you to Mr. Bronny and Pico. Which, you know, a lot of story elements coming into play here. There's a potion. That's great. Always useful to have. Now, cut is one of those silly things, like in this game, because I've now wasted a move slot on Keely, and eventually will have wasted a move slot on 2 different Pokemon once it evolves, Shedinja and Ninjask. And it's not even required for story progression. I don't think there's a single place in this game that you have to have cut to progress. Rock Smash in this game is more useful than cut. Now normally this would not be great, but because Aries hasn't evolved, it doesn't have its fighting type yet, and this is not nearly as bad as it could be. You just lower my physical attack all you want to, because you're dead. I do wish the AI was a little bit better in trainer battles. Oh god, you're gonna do the match call thing. I don't want to talk to you, Jerry. I really don't. I don't want to come back and see your rocks. It just reminds me that I missed capturing one. Meryl. Oh, Meryl. Fix me. See, I don't know that this thing knows any water moves yet, but is it worth it? No, of course not. Not when we have Horatio. Who can try out his new move? He just learned it, right in time for it to be completely useless in the gym. Mega Drain. 7 levels higher. If you don't kill this thing, look at you. There you go. You can stay. I think Horatio is actually still a good long ways away from evolving. It only evolves once, so it's a little bit later evolution like they usually are that way. Yeah, I'll take the berries. One thing to keep in mind too, if anybody is noticing in the future, and you're watching and you think to yourself, Self, why does he not plant berries? I don't think it would work. In case you don't know, this generation of games had an internal battery that ran the clock mechanisms and anything that was time-based. And the internal battery would always eventually run dry, of course, and there's no way for me to repair it. So any time-based events like daily giveaways, or I think berry growth too, I have no way of making them work. So I'll pick what I can, but berries are a finite resource. Ethers are always nice, you can't buy them anywhere, super handy to have. And hopefully we'll just run into enough wild encounters before we get back to get this just slightly less than half of a level of experience. Definitely not going to be from this one Poochyena. Maybe, oh god, that's going to need like 4 more of those. Come on, let's knock them out. Because I'm going to need Combuskin. Alright, Torchic, mess this thing up. Poor little Tello with his mouth constantly just agape, screaming into the wind. Can you imagine if a bird flew around like that, with just its mouth constantly open? 100%. It just looks like it's screaming constantly. But I really do like Tello. I think it's probably one of my favorites of the early flying types you get. Alright, here we go. Yeah, sure, you can learn Peck, and then you're immediately going to learn Double Kick. I'm actually going to get rid of Scratch, because Peck does just slightly less damage, and no, it's not going to be stab, but it's better type coverage. Normal's not particularly good against anything, so might as well get something that does almost as much damage and then can get super effective. You do your thing, Aries. We're all very proud of you. Is this I think this is the first evolution of the playthrough. as well it should be for our starter. Should have the honor, he's been with us the longest. Leader of the pack. He did fall behind Horatio for a very brief period of time, but that was only out of necessity. Yes, you're definitely learning double kick. That was the whole point of making you evolve. Now double kick is not a great move. It's 30 damage. We're going to be a fighting type now. So it's going to get stabbed. And it hits twice. So I don't know how to do the math on all that, but it's basically 60 plus stab. I think that comes out to like 90 if it's not resisted. I'm guessing on some of the math there, but it's pretty good. We're going to go do a quick heal, and then you're going to see why I was so concerned about getting Aries to evolve, because it is just a sick and twisted thing that this game does to you. And it upsets me probably more than it should. I've thought about it a lot over the years, and I am deeply, deeply upset by it. So we're about to run into May as we leave out of town. Now May, it's got a starter just like you do. It's obviously the elemental weakness to my Pokemon, so she has Mudkip. This was back in the day before trainers, your rival trainers, lost all their chutzpah and weren't just a pushover fight half the time. There she is. Now let's look. So we know she has a Mudkip. It's at level 15. It hasn't evolved yet. What would you expect her to have? Something that you could capture probably between Little Root and Rustboro. Nay, what will she have and what will she start off with? Oh, she'll let you walk to here. Oh God, now she's gonna be calling me. Just don't, mate. Just don't. Yeah, I'm trained up for it. We're going to do it. Like I said, this is one of those things I don't know if you can even get out of it if you say no. I wasn't going to risk it because I built up all this hype. We're definitely doing the fight. Torchic. There's nowhere to catch it. Anywhere that she should have been. Nowhere she should have been able to get this thing. It has an ability that prevents its stats from being lowered. So there's no way that all the little techniques and stuff that a new Pokemon player would have learned, growl, things of that nature, to bring it down to a level that you can manage. Sand attack, none of it will work. Its ability nullifies all of that. So it's a real cheap shot, Nintendo. Now look at that. Look at that amazing move that did less than half of its damage. This is what makes this thing powerful. It's going to raise its attack and defense at the cost of its speed, which is fine because it wasn't a super speedy Pokemon anyway. It's basically losing nothing to gain pretty serious buffs. I think it always does this at least twice. It might even go for a third time if the AI calculates that it might need it. Oh, no. Don't do it. Okay, that was fine. And we're going to kill it this time. Beautiful. That Torchic is a pain. Because if you pick Torchic, you have trained up a grass type most likely for this gym. You didn't really have another option. And you don't have a water type Pokemon. You can't capture fish yet. You don't have a fishing rod. The only thing you might have is a Lotad, and I think if you could have trained it until it evolved, and then Meryl. I don't even know when it learns its first water move. There was no way I was giving it a chance. Making you sit through me leveling up from level 7. Meryl really upset me. Last episode, it nearly got killed by a wild Meryl that was 3 levels lower than it, and I was not pleased. Now this is Mega Drain. You are quad weak to it. Do you have a ground? You don't have ground typing yet. You're still super effective weak to it. One shot this thing. Half is pretty good. Starters tend to be pretty strong compared to early game Pokemon especially. Water Gun's not going to do a lot of damage. And we're going to get all of that 3 damage you did back. Poor little Mudkip. But the first time I came through here and didn't know what she was going to be using, that Torchic took me by surprise and pretty much leveled the team I had at the time. I did not want that to happen here. And I've learned over the years that with torchic, just evolve it. It resists most of the attacks that it's going to have. And it's just the safest thing you can possibly do. Well, look at that. Optional item. That we don't really care about, but it's cash. We'll sell it. I don't use a lot of those items like X accuracy, I can't even say it, and X speed. I find that in the time I could have used one of those, that unless it's going to be a fairly long battle, there was really no point. Wait a second. Yeah, that looked like an item nook. Level design is laid out pretty nicely. This is an item that she'll give me that I really wish that I'd have had before the gym badge. Could have powered up a ratio. But nay. The episode's probably going to run a little longer than 20 minutes today. But I wanted to get us out of Rustboro. We've been in there for a couple episodes, and even though there's a lot to do there, just no need to hang around any longer. Oh, a great ball. That's actually not terrible. Always good to have. Now I'm probably missing a few things as I go through here. I'm not too worried about it. Money doesn't tend to be a serious object in these games. Do you give me stuff? No, but that big blank patch of grass will. Do you give me stuff? I won't do that then. Thank you for the advice. And then a regular Pokeball. That's fine. Alright, we are here. We're in Mr. Brownie's cottage. Now I know we're out of Rustboro, we're not out of old territory yet. We're going to leave it off here. The episodes run a couple minutes over where I like to keep them. And there's just no need to drag it out. Next time, we will be following Mr. Brownie and Pico across the ocean to the future. Further up and further in, we will find brand new adventures on a little island across the sea called Dewford Town. So thanks to everybody who came out today. I appreciate all the support we've been getting on the series. All of those out there who tune in regularly, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. It means more than you will know. God bless you, and have a wonderful day until we meet again. Bye-bye.